Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon. We're going to talk about The Last of Us Part 2, and maybe this is kind of a coda to the debacle that was the reaction to the leaks to this game, much anticipated game that was leaked months early, and people did not react well to some of the spoilers, and the game's media did not cover Sony's copyright strike spree that affected a lot of YouTubers. A lot of YouTubers talked about this game, and they were struck just for talking about it, just for talking about the game. And it seemed like the friendly media outlets were all taking the side of Sony and being like, yes, those nasty YouTubers, they need to be shut down because they're ruining it for the rest of us. Well, now the reviews are out, and some of the places you would have expected, like Polygon, to love this game, hate it. They hate it. Now, I'm going to be very, very fair. There are only a couple of outlets that absolutely hate it. In fact, a lot of people really like the game. But it's kind of funny that this became a weirdly political issue. And the outlets you would have expected to like it, like Polygon, like Vice also did not like it. They hate the game. They hate the game. So there we go. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We do cover video games occasionally. We also have CLOWNFISH TV Gaming, where we actually play games. That's a whole nother channel. We've been following The Last of Us Part 2, not because I really care about the game so much. I know Squid King has played through the first one. I don't really care one way or the other. What I do care about in regards to this game is the treatment of YouTubers, including some friends of ours. They've actually gotten copyright strikes from Sony and their shell company, their Muso Limited or whatever it is, Naughty Dog, going on a striking spree, smacking down any dissent, any chatter about this game. Now, I have no doubt it's going to sell very, very well. I think the game is going to do gangbusters, at least initially. However, its release does seem to be overshadowed by the PS5 announcement yesterday. I totally forgot Last of Us 2 was even coming out, I'll be honest. But here we go. Polygon hates it. The Last of Us Part 2 review were better than this. Did you know murder is wrong? Yeah, so their complaint, and this is a complaint I'm seeing a lot of in more and more video game news outlets. They seem to think that violence is wrong, that there's actually a push for non-violent video games, and their big complaint with the game is that the game is violent and we're not thinking about the poor zombies being killed. That's their problem. Now, as far as I know, nobody is bringing up the golfing incident. I've yet to see that in any of the reviews. I might have missed it, but I think they're trying to not spoil the game. But it's interesting that that's not coming up. But Polygon's big beef with the game seems to be that it's too violent, that we're not taking into consideration the feelings of the zombies. Maybe this is a problem with games becoming more realistic, more photorealistic. I never thought about the Goombas families as I smashed them in Mario Brothers back in the day, but now that now that the enemies are people and they look realistic, now we got to think about these fake people's families. They said that the game feels very, very bleak. That is something that we've heard, and that does gel with the reviews. That a lot of people said the game is kind of hopeless and bleak. This is coming from Vice. The Last of Us Part 2 is a grim and bloody spectacle, but a poor sequel. Naughty Dog retreads acres of old ground to tell a simplistic, violent morality play about revenge. Again, spoilers. We get all the way to the end of the review. Last of Us Part 2 feels complacent, yet also preoccupied with its predecessor. Well, it's usually sequels usually are. Every facet of the original game has been expanded and enlarged in the sequel, but not actually improved. It's as if the only inspiration is the original game and the well of pop culture it was drawing from. There's practically nothing here we haven't seen and done repeatedly throughout previous Naughty Dog games. It sets out to surpass its predecessor, but the only meaningful contrast between them is in its even more oppressive bleakness and violence. It digs two graves, fills them with blood, and then just fucking wallows in them. Just fucking wallows in the graves. That sounds like a lot of fun. Now, a lot of the reviews have been good, I guess. Again, I don't even know if I have any interest in this game. What happens with me is when there's a piece of media like this and it's talked about and discussed so much and there's so much controversy surrounding it, I find myself checking out. It was kind of the same way with The Rise of Skywalker. Like, by the time The Rise of Skywalker came out, I lost all interest in seeing the movie. I still haven't seen The Rise of Skywalker. It's on Disney+. It doesn't cost us anything extra to watch it, and I haven't watched it yet because I'm so tired of talking about it. In this case, I have so many negative feelings attached to this game and Naughty Dog because of the drama surrounding the copyright strikes, the kind of the anti-fan sentiment. And we're going to talk about that too, that I'm just not interested. I'm not giving them my money. I'm not buying the game. Last of Us Part 2 reviews say it's the best PS4 exclusive with 44% scores. This is coming from Forbes. And they talk about all the glowing reviews. EGM 10 out of 10. EGM still a thing? Games Radar 10 out of 10. IGN 10 out of 10. GamesBeat 10 out of 10. Did anyone not like it? Here's a middling review from IGN Japan. Some YouTubers did not like it. I know my buddy YouTuber Skill Up says he's one of the only reviewers who genuinely didn't like it, but I frequently find myself at odds with his takes, so I don't expect I'll agree. He did not. Paul Tassi did not throw in Vice, did not throw in Polygon, and those are two big ones that did not like this game. So here's the thing, Wired did a story, and this happens anytime there's like a big release, whether it's a movie or a video game, that there's usually some sort of write-up talking about the process of getting this thing done. It's all puff piece, it's all hype. But here's the story from Wired. The Last of Us Part 2 and its crisis-strewn path to release. Video game developer Naughty Dog was racing to finish the sequel to its blockbuster set in a post-pandemic dystopia. Welcome to 2020, right? Then it was hit with trolls, hackers, and a real pandemic. But here's the thing that gets me. Again, this is supposed to be the article of record, like they're going to say, here's the official story of what happened with The Last of Us 2. So 10 years from now, when people look it up, we're going to have a record out there on Wired.com that you can see exactly what happened and understand the truth. But this isn't really the truth. On Monday, April 27th, Naughty Dog announces the game will in fact be released on June 19th. News that ought to turn fans' mood around, but the bigger news of the day is that hackers have leaked a trove of potential plot spoilers and gameplay footage to YouTube. The leak opens the floodgates of vitriol from the gaming community even wider. As Druckmann had predicted, there are plenty of people who don't care for the game's apparent politics or where the story seems to go. Yeah, like Polygon. Polygon doesn't like it. This game must be alt-right. Even though they lack the full context of the narrative that Naughty Dog's obsessives have been stitching together for 6 years, Druckmann is bombarded with anti-Semitic slurs, death threats, and messages informing him he has ruined the franchise. One YouTube personality posts a video arguing that The Last of Us Part 2 could damage gaming for years, which quickly racks up hundreds of thousands of views. But what they're not mentioning at all in this article is the ridiculous and potentially illegal copyright strike spree that Sony, Naughty Dog, whoever, Muso Limited, whoever, went on to try to smash down and squash any and all dissent. That's not being mentioned. The abuse of copyright to shut up dissenting voices. So we'll see if that affects the sales at all. I don't know if it's going to. I think 95% of people who are going to buy this game aren't going to care. I think they're not going to care. Now, what they might care about is the game being incredibly bleak and hopeless, but that is kind of what they're going for here. One more little Last of Us Part 2 controversy while I'm at it. So apparently they lifted a song and didn't give the singer-songwriter any money or any credit. The Last of Us Part 2 dev apologizes for uncredited Ellie song. Singer-songwriter Lottie Kestner accused Naughty Dog of creating a replica of her cover. Naughty Dog Vice President and The Last of Us Part 2 creative director Neil Druckmann hearing his name a lot, apologized on Twitter Tuesday night for an oversight that left an indie songwriter's cover of New Order's True Faith uncredited in the game's promotional materials. Anna Lynn Williams, a singer and songwriter who performs under the name Lottie Kestner, tweeted at Naughty Dog and Druckmann last week alleging the company used her version of the cover song in an extended trailer for the game. The trailer featured Ellie, voiced by Ashley Johnson, no, not Ellen Page, singing a stylized cover of New Order's True Faith, similar to Kestner's. The original True Faith is an upbeat synth song, whereas Kestner's cover has a slow acoustic melody. Hey, are you aware that the True Faith cover you put up in your Last of Us 2 trailer is a replica of my cover that came out 10 years ago? Kestner asked in a now deleted tweet. I wrote original parts not in the original song, and they are copied exactly by whoever covered it. I am heartbroken. This happens all the time. Studios take fan works all the time. They take, we see it with Star Wars. You know, we see it with Star Wars. We did a video on that where they're lifting fan ships and vehicles and not giving any credit to the fans. But the thing is legally they can say, we own Star Wars, so there's really nothing you can do about it. It's a really douchey thing to do, but there's really nothing they can do about it. And I think as long as Druckmann has the go-ahead to use True Faith from New Order, they probably can do variations of it too and not have to credit people who do covers of it. I mean, that's probably how it works, but it is a bad look. Ellie's rendition of True Faith was inspired by Lottie Kestner's haunting cover of the song. Due to an oversight on our end, no, we didn't want to pay her. She wasn't credited as intended. Our deep apologies. We're rectifying this ASAP. We hope that Lottie Kestner receives the recognition she deserves. On Tuesday night, Druckmann tweeted that Ellie's rendition of True Faith was inspired by Lottie Kestner's haunting cover of the song due to an overnight. Okay, then Lottie Kestner says, so proud this music has found a home in such an amazing project. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Naughty Dog. Never want Sony. Thanks for the check, because I think they probably paid her off. So here's an update from Sony. A trailer for The Last of Us Part 2 included a cover of True Faith with vocals performed by Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie. Credit to Lottie Kestner, whose cover of True Faith inspired our recording, was inadvertently omitted. No, it wasn't inadvertently omitted, because if you credited her, you would have to give her a check too, and not just whoever's handling New Order. We reached out to Lottie Kestner after she complained. We reached out to Lottie Kestner and are taking steps to ensure she is properly credited and cha-ching, probably paid. So again, all of the drama surrounding this game, I don't know how it's realistically how it's going to affect sales. Most people who buy this game are not even going to know what's going on YouTube. I mean, I'm going to be honest. And this happens a lot. Same with the comic book industry. Like, a lot of people don't even know about all the drama going on behind the scenes when it comes to this stuff. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how the game performs long term, if the YouTube drama and the copyright strikes actually has any effect on sales or not. And right now, it seems to me like everybody's excited for PS5. But, and are people really going to take to this game? That's the other question I have is, you know, people are looking for escapism from all the problems we're having in the world right now. When we're talking about a game that is dystopian future that a lot of us are living right now. Do you want a game that mirrors our fractured reality? This is why I think Animal Crossing has been so popular, because Animal Crossing is an escape from this. Or do you want to be reminded of how shitty the world actually is? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.